Happy Wednesday, everybody. Ginger ailing. Holly Wetzel there. I'm Andy Billman. Smart water and the antioxidants here.
My tummy hurts today.
So. Well, the Indians won, so your tummy should be fine.
Oh, they're a constant stomach ache.
J-Ram hit 2 home runs.
I know.
How about that, folks?
Enjoy them this year, people. Enjoy them this year.
Holly and I are on opposite viewpoints about the try, but that's okay. I love it. We're spunky. Shane Bieber, love it. Great win today. I will say.
Yep,
great win. I will say though, someone who works at all jobs and stuff, and I love it for the kids. These 1 o'clock starts though are tough if you're working a job. It's a little tough. It's hard to break away to watch it, but it was a good win today. Mm-hmm. The Indians are now 2-3. I was telling Holly right before we came on air, I thought Shane Bieber had a quote that was a very Cleveland quote. I love it. I love Shane Bieber, by the way. What is your feelings on Shane before we get into the quote?
Of course. I like Shane. Mm-hmm.
Like Shane, pitcher, plays golf.
I don't know why you wouldn't like him. I mean, he's one of our few bright spots on this team, so keep it nice.
We all out there need to help out Holly. Holly's going through a move right now. She's moving into a different apartment, and she's also, been working a lot, and she just wants more time in the sun. And she doesn't. She's been living. I don't want to tell her this, but I don't think anybody's watching. She's kind of become a bag lady because of all this stuff.
For real, I can't. I can't stress the stress of and moving, and I'm moving myself, right? Like it's not like I have a family and children and whatever, but it is beyond. I have. First of all, it's almost like my apartment's become like the floor is lava, so like you gotta like it's like avoiding the floor. I'm literally avoiding the floor because there's nowhere to walk. You know what I mean? I'm walking on my furniture to like shut the window, open the window because Ohio weather is fucking crazy. So like it's 80 degrees today, right? It's going to be like 40 probably over the weekend. It's just one thing after the other. I move on Wednesday. I am living out of boxes. I've stubbed my toe at least 3 times within 24 hours. Oh, right. I'm ready to pull my hair out, and then like my friend's getting married next weekend. So it's like, I got move over a couple days and then I got a wedding, and it's my sister's 40th birthday. So I got that. So it's like
busy time.
Yeah. It's just stressful. It just is. There's just 80 different things you got to check off your list. Trying to wrap shit. I have so much shit. I'm like, where did I even get this from? Where was this from? Like, it's exhausting. I have too much stuff. I'm over it.
Well, let's give Holly a mental hug. We adore her and we want her. Hey, Kevin Atkins, have a drink every time you touch the floor. That's right, Kevin. That's the spirit, brother. How
about every time I stub my toe? Like I'm not even joking at this shit that I'm tripping over. I mean, it's outrageous.
For anybody who's forgotten, is I've moved a lot in the last 5 years. The worst stuff is not the big stuff; it's that little crap.
No, it's the little exactly.
It's the stuff. It's like I didn't realize I had 15 junk drawers.
So many. You know how many cords I have? Cords.
Oh yeah.
Cords beyond.
Cords. Like I have. And by the way, I sadly have this problem. Well, I better not throw these away. I never know if I have a cord left. So I have these and it's very fucking sad. It's a pile. It's like Clark Griswold pile of cords, and I just drop it. And I'm like, here they are. What do they do? I don't fucking know. And I work in TV. I don't know.
Right. You just have them. You know how many throw pillows I have, Andy? I'm like Ben Stiller in Along Came Polly, and I want to stab them all. I want to stab them all because I love throw pillows. That's like my thing. You can never have enough. I have bags and bags of them. Like it's outrageous. It's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. I've thrown away so many things. I have so many bags of shit. And then also another shitty part of moving is wrapping all the glass. And you got to do it individually. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know how many wine glasses I have and regular glasses? It's just, why am I drinking ginger ale? Like, what? I should be drinking something way stronger. Now I got a stomach ache. But you know what I did do on Monday night, Andy?
All right.
I ran 10 miles.
Get the fuck out.
I did somehow squeeze that in.
Well, I just want to take this moment for anybody who's too young and hip. There's a great movie called Forrest Gump. And my dear friend, Holly Wetzel, is ready to become Holly Gump, where she's just going to jog around the Lake Erie. She's going to go through Canada, Toronto, jog all the way around, go through Detroit, come back all the way through Toledo, and go all the way on 80. It is impressive. And Holly, in all seriousness, congratulations. That is
thank you.
The longest I have jogged is I actually did it last year for the draft. Is I listened to the Saturday portion of the draft and I jogged 7 miles.
Nice.
I did 7.
That's great.
Yeah, I did 7 last year, and I saw your time. I did not do your time, but I did. I did do it.
Well, I'll tell you, I wanted to hit that. I really wanted to hit that at some point. I really want to try and do a half this summer. I don't want to go any further than that. Like I have no desire to run. It took me like an hour and 38 minutes, I think, or something to do 10. I don't know. But like, and I felt like still decently fine at like 8.5. I hit 9 miles. Like, after like, if you've done like weightlifting or you've done something where your legs start to shake, like they'll become wobbly, like they're giving out.
Yes.
My legs were starting to give out when I hit that 9th mile. I was like, how am I gonna, if I stop, I'll collapse. So I gotta just keep moving, because if I don't, like I will legit, my legs, I couldn't like restart. It was like a car trying to stay like on E, you know what I mean? If like I turn the car off, I'm done. So and then, it's amazing. Like I finished, like I was watching it I have it on my arm, like on my armband, and I was finishing up, and I started crying. I cried when I finished, and it was like this awesome release of just like all these emotions and all these like, I can't believe I did it. And so for the first time in my life, I can say I'm so proud of myself, and that's a big deal. A lot of people, a lot of people can't say that. And because I never did about anything really. And this is why I was like, wow, like I've really worked my ass off, and I did this by myself for myself. So it was awesome. It was just such an awesome ending. And so I know that next step will be the half, and then that'll be as far as I go. I don't need to go any further than that. Yeah. So I guess we'll end this crazy beginning rant with something positive, which was on Monday. So yes. Thank you.
Howdy, Damien. Good to see you. I think what you did though was amazing. And I tell you, as someone who did 7 miles, my muscles were sore.
Oh yeah.
They were sore. I can only imagine doing 10. I jogged down to the Southington Cheshire Town line and back, and it was a lot. Like that's a 5 mile jog. Like you're definitely getting into some like, I know where you live, so you got to be like getting like on a border of a different town at some point, right?
Yeah, I went like up and back town a little bit. So, and that's the thing, like if I knew I wanted to try to get to that point that night, but like one thing about it is like, I don't ever try to put too much pressure on myself when I go, because if I do, then I'll get in my own head. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I'm just going to go how I'm feeling. So like, if I'm still feeling good, then I'm going to keep going. And if I hit mile 5 or 6 and I'm like, I can't do this, because today I went out. So I took the next day off, obviously. I went out today and I was like huffing and puffing to finish a 5K, 3.2. I was like, fuck. I mean, it was really tough. And I was like a 20 minute mile, which is more than my normal is. And so, and I was struggling, and I don't know if it was because of the heat or what, but it's like, you just don't know. If you're not feeling it, I'm not going to push myself, that's not worth it. Cause then I'm not going to want to do it.
Right.
If you cross that line, you're not going to want to do it. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. And I need I need a pedicure. I need like a foot massage or something, because my feet are beat up.
Well, for anybody out there who's got pedicure coupons, just send them over here to Cleveland and Beyond. We'll be happy to send them to the Holly Set the Edge.
Single, I need a foot massage.
By the way, for anybody out there who wants to sponsor foot massages, please come on down.
There you go.
Well, we're making big announcements. We're going to have big new graphics. Your foot massage product could be right there.
That's
Brandon
right.
said set the edge. Set the edge. Sponsored by Foot Care. You know, I can see it now.
I have nice, cute feet. They're normal feet. They're small.
I cannot say the same about my feet, but yes, I think you'll be the representative of that product. I think we'd like to say for everybody who's old enough, Fred Flintstone, that would be moi right here. So we'll pass. So talk about accomplishments. I thought J-Ram today, Damien, that's what I like to call transition. Bieber and Jose. I agree with you about Bieber, but really I think today's about Jose Ramirez. Jose's 2 home runs. Kevin Atkins with a question for you, Holly. Do we have to be licensed? Kevin's actually giving up his services.
Just don't be weird about it. You know what I mean? I don't want any foot weirdos.
Yeah, no weirdos on Set the Edge.
Not you're saying, Kevin. I'm just, you know,
normal.
No.
Yeah. Don't get weird.
We'll see. Okay.
Just look like your experience that you got. Good foot resume. You will be happy to. Too late. Oh no.
No.
Oh, just put your resume on here.
I'll tell you what. I have been approached. I've gotten DM'd on Twitter for pictures of my feet.
Oh gosh.
That's disgusting, Andy. What is wrong with people? Like, cute feet. I'm like, gross. And it's not like, it's like a picture, right? It's not like my feet. It's like I'm like laying, like, you know what I'm saying? Just like a normal photo.
You're asking the wrong guy. I don't. I'm not a feet guy. They don't turn me off. They don't turn me on. I don't care. Like I don't care. I think he knows about me by now. I don't care. That's for a different discussion for another day. We've never I give look. Okay, then we'll get to Damien. We're gonna get to your Bieber thoughts. Hold on. Don't you leave, Damien. I can see you laughing. I don't know what you look like yet, but I can see you laughing. You just hold on. But here's the thing. I'm not a shoe guy. Like I know girls sometimes when I go on dates wear fancy shoes. I don't notice anything about shoes. I don't look down. I never do. I barely like. I'll notice like a little bit of it. I'm not a guy who looks down. I always look forward or up. So I don't really. I just don't. Sure.
What about behind?
I'm gonna grab my water.
Look,
I am a man who grew up in the 80s, so things will wander. But hey, like I'm a Van Halen guy, come on. I mean,
are you here, Andy, or are you here? Right there.
I'm all about smile and brains. Smile and brains.
Good answer.
Smile and brains. And a little bit of sports. Pinchy poo.
That would be nice.
Pinchy poo.
Maybe a Ram fan, right?
Oh my gosh. Please. Damien, I thought today was more about J-Ram. I'll get to Bieber in a second. I do have an opinion about Bieber. It may not come off as... I like Bieber a lot. I love him. But I got one little thing. But here's about J-Ram. I thought today was big because this offense clearly needs lifting. And in the past, we'd be relying on a Santana home run last year. Santana actually led this team a lot earlier in the year. You'd see a lot of big hits from Lindor at times in past years. You put in said athlete. Like even Cesar Hernandez last year really kind of carried the offense. J-Ram did at the end of the year. But J-Ram's usually a guy who gets hot in the middle to end and then carries. He is off hot. And I get the feeling he understands he needs to lift the team more throughout the year and not just at the end.
Right. And be those,
these home runs were big. This is not a throwaway, hey, it's a win against the Royals on a Wednesday 1:00 game. I'll be honest with you. I was going to be very grumpy if they fucking blew this game today. And it's like, God, they're 1-4. They're playing the Tigers.
Our
now.
Offense has been just non-existent. I mean, it was time. We needed something.
Needed something's right. And here's the one thing that I'm going to get into. I love this team. I like some of the parts in there, but I'm very realistic about one thing. The Indians, Holly, am I wrong? The slow starts. Love Tito Francona, but this team has always gone off to a slow start. I am much more cautious this year about, they'll have a slow start and they'll be able to get right back into it. I think they need to win some games now and get going now. And here's my one word of caution. These are the Tigers and the Royals right now. Play the Tigers again. Next up, White Sox on the road, Twins on the road, then come the Yankees. The games get a lot harder.
Yep.
And a little concerned when we start playing those teams that are far better than the Royals and Tigers, how things are going to go. And those teams are coming. There's like a 2-week stretch where it's pretty tough. And I will say I am a little concerned about those games coming up because not that the Royals and Tigers aren't playing poorly. I mean, Whit Merrifield hits everything, and the Tigers are certainly getting off to a nice start with A.J. Hinch. But Hollis, I'm being honest, like the looming series like after this weekend series, I'm going to Chicago, Twins, Yanks coming to town. Ugh. I don't know. I'm cautious, not worried, but I don't know. I don't know if I see them doing so well in those 2 weeks. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, look, anything exciting that they could be providing us right now would be great, right? I mean, it's anything that can deter us from, the off-season, trials and tribulations of the Cleveland Indians. It's been one thing after the other, and it's always about proving, regardless of what's going on off the field, proving yourself on the field in any sport speaks volumes. So they go out there and they do. I agree. I think a big start, a fast start, an exciting start. We know our pitching is great.
Very good.
But we need bats, and the batting average across like the starting lineup is pretty, it's low.
We are in the bottom 5 of runs, and if some teams didn't lose some games early on, we'd be in the bottom 2.
Yeah.
The Indians right now are really, really low on runs. Oh, the Reds are the other team. The Reds so far, I got to look. I'm just going offhand. Before this broadcast, they were 57 runs. The Indians are at 17.
Yeah.
That's a pretty drastic difference.
Yeah. I mean, you know as well as I do, it's so necessary. Today we needed
huge
that
win.
big game from Jaron. We needed that excitement from the offense. We needed that. So I would love to get an exciting first start. I just don't see it. I want to be proven wrong so bad with the Indians, Andy. I do, across the board. I really, really do. It's really hard to get on board right now. I'm still, of course, an Indians fan. I will still cheer for them. I will still get excited when they win, and I'll still get pissed off when I lose. I still care. But right now, it's really tough. It just is. So if they could get off to a good start, great. Because, that would at least carry us if we do kind of hit a lull, which we will. The amount of baseball games is just insane. So it will happen. But I don't know.
Here's something that Kevin Atkins that you're kind of hitting on. I'm going to hit harder. 2-1 losses are getting old. This team's got a lot of young talent with the arms and the bullpen. The starting pitching is very good. The one thing, though, about these games is entertainment. Forget what I love baseball, so I can watch it, whatever. 2-0, 3-0, 3-2. These are grinding, tough entertainment losses. They aren't entertaining. You strike out, you pop up, you come out, you come on. Like for everyday fans, I think you'll be okay. But for new fans or for Cameron Billman, who's 11 years old, Dad, I can't do this on Saturday. He told me, he goes, Dad, I can't do this anymore. This is boring. I know they're going to lose. I'm out. I think that might be, I don't think Cameron's unique. I think there's other people saying that. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's just, I don't know. And I get worried about that as a fan.
Would it be, taking a whole different stance on it, would it really be that bad if we really did tank this year in the sense of just, it would kind of fit the storyline of everything that's kind of going on? Would it be I shouldn't say that, but would it fit the narrative of this year of just kind of how things have kind of gone down? And would it in the end, though, maybe help? I almost sometimes feel, I guess what I'm trying to get at is I sometimes feel that Indians leadership likes to pretend like these things obviously aren't going on, right? They avoid it and, pretend like it doesn't exist. I just feel like other sports teams like the Cavs in the area and the Browns seem to be a little bit more realistic about the year and the situation. When Paul Dolan did finally speak, he did kind of make a comment about like this is just where we're at, which was finally the first acknowledgement of the season, of just the realities of it. So then I think to myself, well, would it be I wouldn't be surprised by it. And if almost, I feel like maybe that is what's needed to kind of continue out the rest of this crap narrative that we've had the first losing season to try and bounce back. I don't know. I mean, I know that's kind of a really morbid way to look at it.
Here's where I come out on this. I think there's a couple things I agree with. There's a couple I don't. The Indians really have a good view, and this is where I guess I'll push back on your argument. This pitching's there. The bullpen's there. The starting pitching's very there. This team can win big games in big spots. Bieber's a Cy Young Award winner. Plesac can pitch. Savali had a great start, was won a game. I like what I see out of Logan Allen. McKenzie's a rising star. Your bullpen, Emmanuel Clase can throw gas. Wickren's a proven veteran. You got Karinchak, who gave up a run, is excitable, says weird things in the press I don't agree with, but okay, he's got his thing. This guy, Stefan, looks like he's a real deal. You have the pitching's there, and that's the hardest thing in baseball. So, but what's befuddling is they're so behind on hitting, and they're so behind on two positions, I'd say 2.5, that I think they can figure out. I'm hoping, but I got to be honest, where Holly's leaning, I am concerned. Here's the big thing. What are you going to do at first base? I mean, are we really going to go with Yu Chang and Jake Bowers all year? Ugh. And then center field, a.k.a. leadoff, I love Tito Francona. I love him. He's been a fantastic in-game manager. He is so good. You cannot have Ben Gamble leading off anymore. You can't. You can't do it. You can't. Look at Holly's eyes. Ben Gamble's leading off. Ugh. It's just defeating. It's just defeating. And to Damien's point, Tyler Naquin's having a big year, and he didn't ask for it. He's not getting a ton of money in Cincinnati. That also infuriates me. Ted Mack on Periscope. Bottom line is this team we'll see from the Indians this year. This is on Dolan and the plan. Look, I'm with you, Ted, on some of these things, and I know what Holly's saying, but there's some things like we have talent. We have Bobby Bradley. Why isn't Daniel Johnson playing? Those kind of things do make me wonder. I like Josh Naylor a lot. Yeah, Framil Reyes has got to prove to do his thing. Eddie Rosario's he's going to be good. Like there's some things in there like I can see. I think Roberto Perez is ready to take that leadership level from the player's perspective in the batter sense. But there are some things here that I am surprised. It's like Ben Gamble's leading off again. Like, oh my gosh.
Well, I think Andy, you hit it. You said it a couple times. Like we have all these pieces. Like we have this potential. We've had potential every single year.
Yes.
We just want to execute, and it's like this is the first year that I feel like, yeah, well, sure, we got pieces, and yes, the pitching. Of course, it's the pitching. Of course, what we have, and it has yet to be enough to get us across that finish line.
Well, then that's the thing, and that's why I'm worried about this next stretch. When you start playing the White Sox, the Reds, the Yankees, the Twins, you have to score some runs. You're going to have to score some runs in some of these games. You can't rely on 3-2. It's just not going to work. You're going to have to score 4 runs and above. And I'm telling you right now, it's pressing. It takes a 2-run home run day, 2 home runs from J-Ram to get there. It's got to start picking up a little bit more. It can't wait too much longer.
It's early in the season, and I know.
I know. But
and there was a viral video of Bruce Drennan. I'm sure you know who he is. Who went out, and went off on a caller about that. You know, it was the first game of the season. So I'm not. My angst and my worry, and I'm sure, hopefully yours is coming from the same spot. It's just everything that's been happening this year, and I think, and beyond this year, everything that's happened the last couple of years since our awesome run in 2016. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's just nothing's really sitting well. The faith just isn't really there. Something's just off. Something just doesn't feel right about just.
The season's murky. It's murky. And what's also murky is outside the Indians' control. There's also this whole thing, too, which we're going to get into about television that's going on. That's not just in Cleveland. It's countrywide. Mm-hmm. And then you got this looming strike. You have this looming strike down the road. And, you know, something that we've embraced and we loved, Lindor is one of the faces of the game. Well, he's now one of the faces of the game in one of the biggest cities in the country. And now you're seeing his face in SI, on ESPN today. He's everywhere. And I got to admit, I think we got to admit, like, I miss Lindor. I miss him. I wish – I like Jimenez. Nothing wrong with the guy, but like I gotta admit to that, I kind of miss Lindor. Like I kind of do.
I was a lot more pissed off than I am now when look, I think we all knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time.
Right.
Really, at the end of the day, you look at the deal that he ended up getting. We couldn't have obviously. Come close to what he ended up getting. It's just so I get, to a certain extent. There are other parts that we talked about last week that I agree with that or I don't, and vice versa with you. But I do think though, I don't miss him as much, I guess. The more that's come out about him, the more I do question some of the, the sleeping during the rain delay, the stuff he's come out and said. But look, he was a powerhouse. There's no doubt that he'd be helping us, but it does kind of feel like towards the end there, that last year, was he really giving it his all? We don't know. We don't.
Well, right. And Ted, let me put it in specific lingo here. I don't want, like, there are parts where Holly's exactly right. I just having that Lindor aura. Okay.
Well, having a star player, right?
That specialness, like that zip, like. I gotta admit, like, I'm not seeing that zip right now on the field. I don't think
we had a couple. Look, we had Lindor. Yeah, he was definitely our number one. But we had other big names. We had other big stars. We had a team of them.
Now that's my point. No, Holly's right. And Ted, I know where you're getting at. I don't miss some of the things about Lindor like she's hitting on. I don't at all. In fact, I think the Indians made the right move by making the trade. I'm just saying I miss that aura. I miss that zip. I miss that energy. It's just. I got to be honest, 5 games, that's only 5 games. Let's give it time. I'm not feeling it. Like, I'm not seeing that zip, that energy, like that.
Well, it's that confidence, right? It's
I'm just not
from the team. It's that excitement. There's no
zip. There's just nothing. Like, these games, like, I don't know. They just, every time it's like, we're going to score runs today. I mean, every time it's like, oh, God, fucking damn it, are we going to score any fucking runs today? And I don't want that. So, yes, I agree with you. And he said, there you go, Holly. And, yeah, I look, I don't want fucking Lindor sleeping in the locker room. Of course not. Like, I don't like how he did some certain things. But I will say again, here's Javius, Damian, bingo. A bunch of nameless gray faces now. Exactly. And I love these guys. And I like Josh Naylor. I like Eddie Rosario. I'm very excited about Jimenez. But there's no zip. And it's just bleh.
Well, but Damien brings up a good point though too, Andy, of like that whole like underdog of like, that's endless gray faces, right? It's that we fed the Browns organization and the team and the players fed off of that, right? Like they were underdogs but they had felt like they had something to prove, that energy, that zip, like you're talking about, that does not exist with the Indians. It feels like it feels very routine of just like, well, we'll see what happens when we get out there.
It's like this. We got Biff, Cliff, Jim. I mean, like, it's just like, and Ted, I think you get what I'm saying now. I love J-Ram. And J-Ram I will say J-Ram, Josh Naylor, they provide zip. Eddie Rosario, you feel the energy at their at-bats. You really do. But it's not the same aura. It's just not, I don't know. It's just, and again, it's only 5 games. Let's give this time to be fair. And I will. But I'm just saying early on, I will say, usually by game 5, it's like, okay, there's some zippiness and some fun. Like chat, like you felt that Indians chatter, I call it. Spunkiness, like spark, like, they're drawing faces on balls and stuff. Like, it's just not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. All the stuff that happened on the offseason directly fed into the kind of just the really mundane type of feelings and lack of confidence from the fan to feels like the front office to, the lowly, ticket taker. It's like, there's no real, there isn't any excitement around it. And so it is. So I get it. I got you.
There's just no zip. And that's why I'm saying, like, I just have studied enough of baseball and sports. It's okay right now, but it's grinding, and it's going to be, I don't know, it's just going to be grinding. I'll just admit it now. And it's early on, these games, every time I watch a game, I go this, oh, fuck, are we going to get a hit after the first inning? Oh, my God, oh, fuck, are we going to get a hit? It's like that every game. It's like that every game. Javius heard on Facebook, they couldn't pick up a good bat if they were standing inside the factory. That makes up Javius Singer. That was good.
I like
that was
it.
Good. Back to back, Javius. They live and die by the lightning and a bottle theory. Yeah, I agree with you. And that you're definitely feeling in this year's team. Damian, I don't even think Hernandez is trying anymore. I don't know about that, but all right. Swinging at every pitch when it's out in the highway. I think Hernandez is off. Give him time. Give him time. He's a very good pro. He's having a slow start. Now, that's the one I'm like, Cesar Hernandez will be fine. But I will say, again, I find it odd that they're leading off with Ben Gamble, not Cesar Hernandez. Like, I just...
Look, they'll figure it out. They'll figure out a groove, Andy. They'll figure out the lineup. It's still early. I do think that I do feel that Tito's going to have that lineup to where people
Sure.
where they should be. So I think that'll come in time. It's just the lack of excitement across the board from top to bottom, from every aspect it's just not there.
I just worry about it because, and the reason why I worry about it is this is an entertainment thing. You got to be spunky. Like, again, I think there's good. When people tell me, oh, the Indians are a mess, I don't think they're a mess. But there's bits and parts, but they are not spunky, fun entertainment. You and I, Ted, Damian, Javius, I think we'll be there all year watching games. But again, to people like my son Cameron, to other people who I hear about, and then we'll get into this cable thing, I don't know if the fans who are casual fans will call them. I don't know if they're going to be there that long. I don't know if they're going to put up with 3-1, 3-2, 4-2.
No, they should be happy they have a current attendance limit.
Yeah.
I don't know how much better it's going to get.
Ted Mack, again, good job today, Ted, on the comments. Nashville's my worst fear. Oh, no, they're not going to Nashville, Ted. They're fine. Ted, come on. Come on, Ted. Come on, Ted. Have a ginger ale. You're all right. We're not going to Nashville. Javius, they're going to waste so many good pitching outings. And Javius, I will ding that bell and ding that bell and ding that bell. Folks, this pitching is good, and I think the bullpen is very good. And it is mind-numbing to think, like, we have the two hardest things to figure out in baseball. And I don't know if we're going to win above 80 games.
Well, I think that's where lies the major frustration of just not doing just doing the bare minimum and just hoping and praying that, like, we just, get there again this year and, like, figure it out when we get there. Like, that doesn't work anymore. It's clearly not working. And as we've been trying to these last couple of years, we've lost all of our major offense, big key players. Yes. It's been this pattern. So that's why, I feel like, is this going to be the year that we do end up taking a bit of a nosedive with, wow, we had all these awesome pieces. Now we're going to probably we're going to lose our pitching, right? We're going to be in it. Someone's going to wake up. Like, we're wasting. He's right. We are wasting
talent. It's true. And I think there's going to come a point, I would just think, you go, let's give Daniel Johnson a chance. Let's let him play center field. Let's move around some parts. Because, like I said, nothing against the young man, but like Ben Gamble coming in and leading off as Holly's frozen. Hopefully we'll get her back here in a second. The thing is, like, you just don't want someone like Ben Gamble leading off and just not being able to do that and not giving the right tone to it. We'll get Holly back in a second. I'll keep doing some comments here as we wait. But anyways, I think that the biggest thing with the Indians, again, the pitching's there. Love to see the pitching. Exciting about the pitching. But when are they going to make that decision to be like, all right, cool, we're going to need to get something in center field a little bit more spunky. And, first base, patience with Yu Chang and Bowers I get for a while, but you do wonder how much longer they're going to do that and bring up Bobby Bradley. All that to say, Jam Ram today was a big start in the right direction. Big start in the right direction. All right, Damian, we finally have something that can throw some heat. Class A. I love Class A a lot, Damian. I like Class A a lot. I think that guy Stefan, who we got from the Yankees, is going to be good. I think Anthony Ghost at some point is going to come up. He's going to be a lefty that's going to really bring a lot of pressure in big spots. I like Anthony Ghost a lot. I like Wickren. Wickren bounced back today. He got the save, did a nice job. I know Karinchak. Love Karinchak at the times. He drives me crazy with his comments, but I like him on the mound. He's got that intensity. I think he's very good. And again, like, you have parts like Class A just throws gas. God, that guy's good. So you see things that all make sense. It all adds up. Just if they can get a few more strings of hitting. Eddie Rosario can hit, by the way. Like Eddie Rosario a lot. Like Eddie a lot. I think that guy can play. Like, I think that guy's. Obviously, he can play every day. He played for the Twins to beat us up. So you see certain things you like. You just hope, Logan Allen, that was a good start too. Do we see more Nolan Jones? We'll see. Bobby Bradley, like maybe you'll see him come up and maybe do some things. So there are chances to give this lineup some spunk internally and hope. And again, Daniel Johnson, I'm big on him. Maybe it's him. Naylor brings a lot of energy. And again, Framil Reyes has still not gotten hot yet. Damian, Reyes needs to be more patient at the plate. Give Reyes a chance. I like Framil a lot. I love his smile. I'll say that guy, I like his energy. He smile. I love it. Brings a passion to the game. I just need to be patient in the plane for sure. But he's your classic swing and miss, swing and hit the big shot, double home run kind of guy. So he's going to strike out a lot. You take that for what it's worth. But again, like wouldn't get too befuddled by the strikeouts at times. That's happened throughout baseball, and he's just that guy. He's going to hit big when he hits big, and he's going to miss big when he misses big. He's going to strike out. It's okay. You just don't want a whole lot of that. Probably Wetzel back. And I just, her ginger ale mood is settling in.
I can't. See, this is what happens when I drink ginger ale during the show.
Oh, my God, you're right. Mm-hmm. It's all about the ginger ale.
I apologize, everybody. I'm having internet problems, and they're trying to boot me out of this place, clearly. So
they are ready to push her out. They're clearly seeing.
Noted.
They clearly see the bags in the post. Javius, the Dolan's horse isn't fun to beat anymore. The stench and the flies are killing me. I will just comment about this because I think I can go all sorts of times, and we did that on the last podcast. The only thing I'll observe from afar, from a different look, they are by far enemy number 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this team with fans. When you talk to people in a bar, when you talk to people in a chat room like this, Instagram, whatever, everyone has had it with the Dolans. They are definitely public enemy number 1. It has not gotten better. It's gotten worse. And Javius, I'll ask Holly. I hear this constantly. I hear people are going to games just to boo the Dolans. It's that they're definitely getting hit around pretty hard right now.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. I wouldn't be surprised. People are pretty ruthless these days on all kinds of different levels. I think that's a little ridiculous to go pay for a game to go boo the Dolans. I mean, that's stupid. So whoever's doing
I've been seeing that real quickly. I've been seeing that a lot too, and I think that's so weird. But I mean, do what you tell them.
Weird. We say that all the time. Well, actually, we always see people are idiots.
We go through the cut. We just go right for the throat.
No, I mean, we talk that when they show that lack of interest, when it starts at the top like that, it just will trickle. And that's where we're at. There's just, they're finally kind of, I feel like every year they get a little bit more and more exposed to what's kind of going on. And I feel like they've been like, just really riding this, like, not pure luck, but just like, because I don't want to discount what Antonetti and the front office has done. Because I do think they've done whatever they possibly could with the money that they have and so on and so forth. And honestly, they've done a great job with what they've been tasked with, and the limited resources. But it just feels like now that kind of layer has been pulled back a little bit, it's a little alarming to see just the lack of confidence from the top down.
I'll just say this: there needs to be a lot fixed in baseball. This strike is looming. There's going to be a strike. I'd be very, very surprised if everything came to a hunky-dory agreement. And I know people for the press and for people on most everybody else would be like, oh, it's a union thing and a players thing and it's a owners thing and a play. Okay, that's fair. There's a lot more deeper discussions needs to happen between what is fair revenue sharing. And something that I caught that I thought wasn't incorrect by Lindor was we saying, well, that wouldn't be fair for the Mets to have to share money with all the teams. It's like, well, no, actually, Francisco, it would be, because that's what other leagues do. They fairly share revenue, and baseball does not. Baseball needs to start doing that. The pandemic has expanded this. Sometimes you need something like this to really bring eyeballs to it. I think it's gotten more attention. I hope it does. I know, again, it's all going to be between the players and the owners and getting agreement, and that's issue number one. Fine. There should be a bigger topic, though. How is revenue sharing going to be shared? How's that going to go? It's got to be even more evenly distributed. You can't keep giving out the big bucks because that's how you grow your game. And I do think that's a problem, Holly, with the game of baseball. It's not growing because you're not sharing. Right. I think they got to start sharing. I just do.
Yeah. Look, we could talk for hours on this of what they should be doing. The game of baseball should be doing to come into the 21st century of everything across the board, from obviously with revenue sharing and beyond, of just shorter games, shorter season, allowing a little bit more of the celebrations, right? I mean, that came up this past week. It's just, you got to evolve. And, the Indians, for sure, and not just the Indians, they seem to have relished in the way that baseball has been ran. I think they've been able to hide the way that they operate behind the fact of the way that baseball is ran. Yep. And now if the things start to change, I think it is going to force that hand. And maybe that is what really needs to happen across the board. I mean, we are kind of coming to head here.
Yeah. Again, you can't, I know everybody, and it's fair, but I'm telling you, the revenue sharing thing's got to be changed. Frank on Periscope, good to have you in the room, Frank. Our owner's cheap. That seems to be a growing sentiment from everybody. Frank, you're not alone. He is at the top for the blame. A lot, again, like you can't, there's a lot that has to be cleaned up because there's a lot of fans who are majority feeling like Frank. And I may not agree with everything, but I do know, and I'm not stupid. There needs to be some healing here. There needs to be some real healing here. Something really needs to be done. JVS, they put more money into the ballpark than into the team itself. That is fair. They have that new scoreboard. They have some other things there. JVS, it's hard because you need to put money into stadiums too. Ask the Cubs, ask other teams. Yeah. When you don't put money into stadiums, they start falling apart. They become outdated. It's hard. I think they had to put money in that ballpark and in that stadium. I thought that was the right thing to do. No,
they did. There was like 80 million suites at that ballpark. They needed to cut that. They needed something. They needed to kind of come up with. They needed that. They needed the corner.
The corner bar is a great idea. I actually, Javis, don't mind the money being put in the stadium because, again, traveling around a bunch of stadiums around the country, when you don't put money in the stadiums and arenas, it can look old and it can be stale fast. And I think that's a big part of it. Now, post-pandemic is a whole different thing, and we can get into that different show. Damien, you got all these powerhouses, Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Cubs, Red Sox, I forget a team. You have all these small teams that can't be successful because of the financials of MLB. Damien agreed. I think that's the biggest problem. They have to make a salary floor. Agreed, Javius. Again, I think these are all starting roundabout the same comments. They have to do something in this next labor agreement that's just bigger than the players and the owners came to agreement. It must be bigger than that. The biggest discussion outside of Cleveland that's on the field, boy, we talked about the Indians for 42 minutes. Now talking about what's off the field, Tom Billman, my dad, love my dad. He sent me this text today. I'm fucking pissed. I bought streaming to not have to pay cable prices, and I got to buy cables. I can't watch the Indians on my cable, on my streaming service. And this is a big discussion among many Clevelanders. And as we, Holly and I have been talking about, this is nationwide. There's a great article that was done. I want to give the guy kudos who did this. I don't have it up now. But anyways, you can do your Googles and your internet searches. He did a great article really breaking down that the Indians are not alone. There's 14 MLB teams, 17 NBA teams, and 13 NHL teams that are having the same issues that the Indians and Cavs are having, where because of Sinclair, which Holly will get into, there's a big disagreement between streaming and cable. There's been an outcry from Clevelanders. There's been an outcry from Atlanta as well and other cities where people are like, hey, like, can't see this. And there's a streaming cable. I think that's part of the wars I'll get into. But there's this whole Sinclair thing. So explain, what is Sinclair? Yep. Why do they have so much leverage?
Yeah, so Sinclair owns 186 television stations in 87 markets.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And they came in, and I going back and forth about when they first took over the RSNs, I thought, well, leverage, right?
Right.
186 television stations in 87 markets. The problem, so here's a little streaming service 101 for you, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
When the streaming services came on, when they were the new latest and greatest, and they were approaching the networks like Fox, to start to carry the product. When they're carrying it over broadband, and I think the biggest piece in this, why cable has slowly died, was how expensive it was compared to, wait, I can still get my product out, my programming out through broadband, which cost me next to nothing.
Yep.
Cable companies that just had cable, they went off out of business. If any of them had any type of broadband offerings, that's where they were going to make their money. That's how they were able to stay afloat. So that's when, this big wave came in. So then AT&T came in. They were technically Internet Protocol Television, IPTV. So that's a whole that's
a whole nother thing.
Yes. So when they came out and they said, "Hey, we want to put your programming on our services," they were throwing money at these networks. Throwing money. There wasn't even and they could do it so cheap because of the fact that they were the way that they were delivering the product. So that's kind of what happened. Well, then all of a sudden that stuff starts to come to head, right? Because then the rights fees start to decline, and programming and content is king, and all of that starts to bubble up. So now, start to cost money across the board. Well, then now your bill starts going up, and then they start getting into, because of the leverage, because of the carriage, it's become a cable bundle 2.0. Because on the cable bundle side, when you're watching TV and you would buy those certain packages, if you bought it up on a certain package, less eyeballs are there. That's why it's more expensive. So at the time, I think Sling was one of the first ones. They kind of came up with just like an orange package and a blue, which was based on ESPN Disney versus Fox programming, and you could kind of pick and choose from there. Mm-hmm. And if you wanted both, it was a little bit more of an upsell, but they were still hitting the same amount of subscribers. And when you start to kind of combat that with product being dropped onto sports, for instance, has to be up on a certain tier. And anytime you add sports to any of those other tiers, it's going to trip up other carriage agreements. So my point of all of this, that I know, so now I'm getting down into the weeds.
No, it's okay.
The point of all this is that they saw an opportunity, they got the programming on there, and they started to do their own agreements. Well, everything, like I said, has kind of come to head now. And Sinclair, everyone thinks getting into the regional sports network business is an easy thing. It is by far one of the hardest things to maintain because of the fact of how expensive it is. And this new NFL deal and beyond, all these TV rights deals, the latest one I think that is coming up, or the one that just got done with Sinclair and the Marlins, they have equity in the network. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other piece of how teams are able to kind of stay afloat and also be a part of it, and then have the networks have the leverage. So going back to now kind of where we are, if you notice, first of all, if LeBron was still on the Cavs, let's use Cleveland, for instance, that war would be a whole lot bigger. And when Fox Sports Ohio, which is now Bally Sports Ohio, was dropped back last fall, nobody really even knew about it because nobody's watching the Cavs.
Nope.
But then when other streaming services start to hear about that and start to follow suit, they're like, well, if YouTube dropped it, if Hulu dropped it, well, I'm going to drop it too. So that's kind of what's happened. And John Oren did a really good, from Sports Business Journal, did a really good article as well about, the fact that streaming services now are just, they really are a dime a dozen at this point.
Yeah, they are.
It is kind of like a whack-a-mole. I mean, you're getting one and grabbing up another. And the leverage should have been the opening day for baseball, and it's not. So he questions a lot about that whether or not the RSN model is still viable. At the end of the day, it is, Andy. But I do think that it's playing a major part in this. I mean, you can't watch. Is it really going to matter? I mean, the Indians, for instance, have by far some of the best ratings in baseball. But if all of those subscribers can't see, if you moved everyone over to these streaming services and they can't see it. And I think it's really interesting too. You have not been able to see, I looked on the Bally Sports Ohio Twitter. Mm-hmm. I looked, there is no marketing campaign of you need to call Sinclair, or you need to call YouTube. You need to call Hulu.
Yeah, your streaming's a provider, right?
And we did these big marketing campaigns. Sometimes never saw the light of day because we got a deal done when I was at Fox. But
sure.
I mean, we went all in. I mean, that was a big deal. So that's also a really interesting piece too, that they're not. It's not coming up yet. So the whole world of distribution is a very, very confusing one. But it's how networks make their money. That's the bottom line. They bring in 85% of the revenue, and we're coming to a head here. We are in this cable bundle 2.0 situation of the fact that, we can't more than half. I don't even know how many subscribers. I'd have to look that up of how many people can't watch these teams, but
it's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's amazing. The Indians are an interesting one because that's the only pro sports on that channel. Fox Sports Ohio, is a little different with the Blue Jackets and the Reds.
The Reds.
And the Cavaliers. I will say this. I think that if Dan Gilbert was more involved right now, he would not be having this for the Cavs.
Yeah, I think
it wouldn't be happening.
I think what they're doing is they're posturing people to force them to make a choice between cable and streaming again in the opposite direction. And here's why I say that. Do you know why I have Directv? I'll tell you why. It's not cheap. It's certainly not like, it's certainly not like something like, oh, I get these great deals. I press a button and it comes on. Like whatever I need, it's like, oh, it's there. I pay. Like that. And the reason why I do that is I don't want to fuck with the shit that everybody's going through right now. And I feel bad. I feel bad for my dad. I feel bad for Craig at WFNY. I feel bad for other people who are trying to get things and they can't hoop around. It's going to force people to go back to cable a little bit if you're a sports fan. I'm telling you, it's going to force them to go back a little bit. You don't want to fuck with this. You don't want the problems.
And look, Andy, I will say you're not out of the woods completely from these type of situations with what you have, but because the focus and because of all the deals, because of they've pushed all these people over to this platform, and then they want to try and raise the prices. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, at first it was like, here's all this money, and things are starting to finally catch up. You can't do that. And as much as you want to rely on the fact that like content is king and they will pay for it, it's still not the NFL.
No.
That's another piece too. And you got to look at, I'm actually surprised, and John Oren wrote this too, and I don't know too much about it, but he brings up that the RSNs are ran through the Diamond Sports Group, which is this separate, it's part of Sinclair, but it's like their sports arm.
Sure.
Because, I will say in Cleveland, there's no Sinclair owned broadcast stations. And that's where a lot of the leverage would come from. So if they could say, well, if you want to say if the local ABC affiliate here was owned by Sinclair.
Sure.
They could say, well, we won't give you the ABC and now, in market affiliate if you don't carry Fox Sports Ohio or Bally Sports Ohio now, right? Like that leverage doesn't exist in Cleveland. So on top of that, what I was going to say about Diamond Sports Network is that apparently they don't want to use the RSNs for some of that leverage, which doesn't make any sense to me. So
that's not true.
So I don't know, but in a situation where like Cleveland, there is no leverage. So it's just, I think my bigger thought with Sinclair on this as time goes on is that I think while right now they know they're losing subscribers and, unfortunately a lot of fans are kind of sitting ducks throughout this whole process. I think with this whole gambling piece, as gambling gets to become legal in a lot of these markets, that's the leverage that they're going to try and use to be able to get the carriage in there. That's where I think they're going to be able to really make those big moves. And so
I'm telling you right now, those prices are going to jump on streaming or they're going to jump to cable. I'm telling you.
Well, my AT&T, so I have AT&T and mine just jumped about $10.
Yep, it's going to keep jumping.
So and really AT&T's been pretty good with it, but they've, it's a channel off of a channel. It's a piece off of AT&T and DirecTV.
Yep, telling you, it's weird. I think it's all cycling back, not all of it, because again, if you don't need sports, if you don't need news, I think you're going to be just fine. I really mean that. I think you're going to be just fine.
And you are now, because if you don't, there are many packages that you don't need.
Correct. That's
to
fine.
get that, but you still get your broadcast stations.
That's all you need, right?
Right.
That's all you need. But if you want that stuff, it's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to pay the big bucks because that's where it's going. And Holly hit the key one. And you watch, it's just gonna boomerang. In my opinion, if they get this gambling thing figured out, and once gambling becomes more interactive, game, set, match.
Yeah.
Because then people will be gambling on their iPhones, they'll be watching the games, and they'll be seeing betting lines coming across just as the games are coming down.
Yeah.
You're going to be in Vegas in your home, and you will pay, and I will pay for that. I would in a heartbeat. Be able to gamble live on television. Oh my God, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Great.
And I think, I still think a all-encompassing standalone sports streaming app is in the future at some point. I do think it will be, and I think it'll be though a part of a league deal, kind of like a league pass type thing. I don't know what that all looks like, but I do feel like that idea that John Skipper had at ESPN many, many moons ago, I still think is definitely in play. But it is interesting because Andy, this NFL deal that was just done, broadcast games, traditional broadcasting games are not going anywhere for another 12 years. So it's here to stay.
Ask the cable networks at Turner. The top 5 rated cable shows last week were all the tournament. And it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
JVS, do we really want the Cavaliers to make the playoffs? Of course we do. They're not going to, but of course we do. I like Darius Garland's game the other night. That was really exciting. What? Naquin with the Reds? I know. Drew Saul, good to have you in a room.
Mm-hmm.
He's going crazy. I know. Naquin's really playing well. I will never forget him for that wonderful moment he had at home play against the Blue Jays. Andy, I saw that draft. The draft tickets are super expensive. Are you still able to go? We're trying. We're efforting, Drew. We'll be there. We'll all be there on the ground with hard helmets and masks, Lysol sprays. We'll be there. Don't you worry. I got one shot.
Me too.
You got one shot. Vaccination. Yeah, we're going to be vaccinated. We're going to be fine.
And Jared.
And Jared. We're all going to be there live. So, Drew, we'll be there. We'll have more announcements. I got to find a location for us for Friday. We're going to do a show live Friday somewhere. And Thursday, we're all going to be around the draft, whether Holly's in the pit, whether I'm running around with Jared somewhere. We're all going to be in different locations. Actually, Jared and I will be in the same locations. We're dating on that night. And then Holly will be somewhere in the pit.
We hope.
We'll
cross our fingers for that.
We'll find her somewhere.
Yeah.
If not, we'll all be drinking ginger ale somewhere in the,
No, I will be drinking something much stronger. So
just a tiny bit.
Andy might be drinking ginger ale.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
You better have some.
I think the Andy will come out that night and it'll be just fine.
I'll buy you a soft pretzel.
Oh, please. You said the magic term. There anybody has been to Yard House? They're soft pretzels are wonderful. You can soup that's cheese. All right. Where we at? Say adieu. I was excited about the Cavs win. I really like Hartenstein. I think I was wrong. Hartenstein's actually worked out well so far. Javius, liquid vaccinated. That's right. That's right. And soft pretzels. You better, Damien, the Yard House in Westlake has got a fantastic soft pretzel. My God, I could bathe in it. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I guess you weren't even done with the first one, and I'm talking. This thing's bigger than his head. It's this.
Oh, it was wonderful.
And he's like, can I get one to go?
Can I take one to go? I'll take the low carb. Thank you. Oh, extra cheese, of course. And salt. Fuck it. You know what?
Blue cheese was delicious.
Oh, it was delicious. Someone knows her bar food. That's all I'll say. It's like when I dip that, wonderful.
There are a few things, Andy, that I'm good at, and one of them is food. So,
Damien, you gotta go. Yard House. Never been there. I've been up in that direction 1,000 times. Go there. I don't want to give away the sacred for Set the Edge production meetings, but we'll probably be there.
We do take over the tables there.
Oh, and I'll drink one of those obnoxious, stupid beers that are way too big, which I'll never do again.
Oh,
God.
and he ordered the biggest beer, but he didn't realize it was the yard. So if anyone's been to your house, they give these ridiculously large, long yard beers. And she brought this thing over, and I lost it because I thought, oh my God, I wasn't even thinking of telling Andy to not order that because it's huge. And then you couldn't even, you were taking it down.
I felt like a little kid, like.
It was great. And you're like, can I get a regular glass, please? Can I just get a regular glass?
And tons of water. Thank you. But yeah, that was I like the Art House. Good people. And by the way, you can zip your credit card right at the table. I love that. God, we're giving a big plug to that place. I will say I love that. Zip the credit card. I'm all for it.
And speaking of the Art House and other bars, Andy, if you aren't getting the games at home, go to your local bar.
Yes.
The game as well.
Yes. And by the way, that is something I was going to say that's also been a big effect. Couple more comments and we'll get to the end here. I think that has also hurt sports, but it's starting to come back. And I think Holly makes a good point. Like the gathering, hunting and gathering is a big part of sports, not just at bars, but at families' homes and stuff. That is starting to come back. You can feel that. I think that's why the tournament was so big, is people were going out to bars and watching it. I really do. I'm a big believer in that. Me sitting down with my basketball bracket that blew up after the Ohio State loss and Purdue loss. Yeah. But there's a lot of other people there too, but they're at BW3s, they're at Quaker Steak, they're at Yard House, and they're just sitting there having a great time. And I'll tell you, it does play a big part of this. I ruined this for Holly, but I'll ask the viewers, what do you think the number one rated show was last week in the big boys, the television world? Number one by far. Not a big gap, but a pretty decent gap.
I definitely got this.
Yeah.
Wrong.
So for everybody out there, there's all these cool new shows. There's all these nice new things. There's like The Crown. There's all these fun things on Netflix and Hulu, and it's all cool. Still this day, the number one rated show on television is 60 Minutes. So for all that has passed and all that has changed, it is amazing. Still, the standard 60 Minutes ranked above American Idol and many other things. The Voice, 60 Minutes, number
Pretty
one.
Amazing. That broadcast station power, man.
Whew. It is amazing. The Cavs, I will ask, will you be watching? The Cavs play 3 games in 4 days, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Will Holly Wetzel watch any of them? Oh, boy.
Maybe tomorrow night.
Okay. The Indians, they played
actually, maybe Saturday too.
Motor City Kitties come back to town. I'll watch everything, of course. They're coming back. My word of today for everybody is the good news is the Browns were in April, so we're only 6 months away from football. So 6, 1, 2, April, May, June.
Training camp will be here before you know it, Andy.
Before you know it. And the draft will be here. And again, I'll be saying this all year. We'll be sipping champagne about the wins in the fall. The Browns are going to be so good. So good. It's great watching mock drafts and going, I don't even know. I'm just reading it for entertainment. They draft this kid Collins. They draft this kid out of Miami. They draft this kid.
Defense will be fine.
Well, draft a kicker in the first round. It'll be weird.
All right, don't get crazy.
Don't get crazy.
Get crazy.
No, let's not do something weird. Are you into this drafting and trading? You trade the Sam Darnold. Does that get you excited for the draft? I mean, I'm excited for the draft coming to Cleveland, but like, do you get in the draft hype? Last conversation. The draft hype doesn't seem as high.
No,
year.
but it's because it's in Cleveland. So yes. Outside of that, I don't know. I don't know how much of the draft hype I'd be, but I am so hyped about all of like the exciting things we have for next season that I can't wait. I'm pumped to see who the next puzzle piece is going to be. So
Yes. All right. So we've debated here a lot today. For everybody who's got a fit thing and you want a pedicure or anything else, you want to sponsor a show, please come on board. The Yard House is where you get soft pretzels.
Please don't DM me about feet, though.
Oh no. And me either. I don't want to hear it. I think I'm busy.
You might. I don't know.
I will never look. I don't look down. Always forward. Unless I drop something out of my pocket, like a
Man
wallet.
behind. We've established that.
Yes. I will say this for all this pandemic talk, it made me thinking, I do miss going to the casino. I don't go a ton, but I haven't been to the casino in a year and a half, and I kind of miss it. I have an itch to go.
Yep.
I would love to go roll some dice.
I don't even gamble, but I'd be down.
God, I would love that. I love that stuff. And that is the one thing in recent months, I'm like, I'm itching to go to the casino. I don't even go a lot. Just once in a while, God, I'm itching to go. Itching to go. All right, Damien, this is your last comment that we're going to get out of here. DM Andy about feet, not Holly. Andy. Thanks, Damien. Thanks, dude.
Thank you, Damon. Thanks for clearing that up.
Next week, we hope to talk about the Indians and how they're just flying high, won 8 in a row, how they took our advice and just started playing ripping, roaring baseball. Sinclair says, you know what? Fuck it. We don't care about fees. Everybody watch our material. Who cares? Everybody, come on down. YouTube, Hulu. Everybody watches it.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I think people, by the way, that are in those as the last point. I think you're gonna be sitting ducks for a while.
You need to buy cable.
I will say this: do this. Everyone that is not getting it, call your provider and ask for a rebate, and they will give you one. They will give you a monthly off your bill when you're not getting those channels. You're welcome.
Dropping knowledge.
Yes.
Dropping like it's hot. When's your big day? When you're moving?
Wednesday.
It's almost there. Poor Holly, you can see in her face. She is, go on her Instagram. Go on her Twitter. Mine's very boring. Hers is very interesting. It's very interesting. She's got bags everywhere.
Let me know who wants to help.
She's literally like a Peanuts character. Help.
I'll let you touch my feet. Oh, that's so
Oh, all right. Ginger ale
tonight. What is happening? Okay.
Ginger ale to us all. Holly Wetzel there. I'm Andy Billman here. Moving one step closer. No more drag racing. That's right. Oh, I know. Oh, no. I think there'll always be drag racing, though. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I won't hear it as often anymore.
Damn it.
No, that's a good thing.
That's a bummer.
Yep.
Okay. I've dragged us out. I dragged us out too long.
Good night.
We've all learned a lot. So we all got to go. Bye-bye. Go Indians. Beat the Motor City Kitty.